gentlemen, as you can see.
E aí, descobriu o erro? Assim como a gente falou no vídeo anterior, em inglês existem palavras que não aceitam ser contadas. Daquela vez, eu abri o vídeo falando sobre água. Desta vez, vou falar sobre pão. Aqui no Brasil, na padaria, você pede 1, 2, 3 pãezinhos. Mas, na Inglaterra, como é que se pediria? 1, 2, 3 breads? Vamos ver em inglês. Today, we're going to be continuing where we left off in the previous video, talking about these groups of words which cannot be counted. Words we call uncountable nouns, or non-count nouns, or mass nouns. In the last video, we used water to discuss how we use these uncountable nouns, and today we're going to have a look at the word bread. Now, bread is seen as an uncountable noun, which means we can't count it. We can't say 1 bread, or 2 breads, or 3 breads. We have to use a quantifier, or we use other words that represent bread. Today, we're looking very much at words that represent a category of words. And within that category, you have individual items which can be counted, individual words. With this item here, we don't call this bread, we call this a bread roll. In a bakery, you would ask for 1, 2, or 3 bread rolls. However, there are other types of bread. For example, a loaf of bread. Now, a loaf of bread is this form here, and if we cut it into slices, it becomes a slice of bread, which this slice of bread is then acting as a quantifier for the uncountable noun bread. A brief recap from the last video. We can't use these uncountable nouns with numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. We can't use it with the article a because it's the same as the number 1. We have to use these words with some. We can't use the determiner many, we have to use much. And if we want to use an adjective before it, we have to use less, least, or little. So, today, let's look at 5 more words that are very commonly used with an S in Brazil, when in fact, they can't be. Number 1, luggage. Luggage can't be used in the plural form. Luggage is a mass count noun, which means you can't say 1 luggage or 2 luggage. And you can't say 1 baggage or 2 baggages. Baggage, luggage are synonyms, and they are both non-count. However, the individual items within this category we can count. So, this here is a carry-on case. I have 2 carry-on cases. Other synonyms include suitcase, briefcase, backpack, handbag, and other such terms, all of which are countable. If we want to count luggage, we can use the quantifiers a piece of luggage or an item of luggage. So, I have 2 pieces of luggage. Number 2 is stuff. We cannot use stuff with an S. There's no such thing as stuffs. A synonym for stuff, for example, is things. Now, things is a word that can be counted. Stuff cannot be counted. For example, here is a bag of stuff that I brought back from England during a recent trip. What did I get? I brought back some custard, some gin, some golden syrup, which if you've never tried is very nice on pancakes, and I brought back a corgi for my daughter. Number 3 on our list is furniture. Furniture, I hear very commonly used in the plural form by my students, furnitures. It's an uncountable noun, we can't count them. We can't say 1 furniture, 2 furnitures. If we want to count furniture, we have to use the quantifier a piece of furniture, an item of furniture. Now, we can also call them by their original names, for example, this being a lamp, or for example, we have here an armchair. So, furniture can't be counted. Number 4 on our list is musics. You can't say musics, it's uncountable, it's music. You can't say, I love music, but you can say, I love music. You can also, when referring to a specific piece of music, piece of is the quantifier, we can refer to it by other terms. We can say, I love that song, 1 song, 2 songs. I love that track, 1 track, 2 tracks. Album, I love that album, 2 albums. However, if we're referring to vinyl, For those who want to know, vinyl is also an uncountable noun. So you can love vinyl, you can buy vinyl. If you buy two, you buy two records. Records is the countable form of vinyl. Number 5, last but not least, very commonly used in the plural form when it's a mass count noun, it can't be counted, is the word equipment. In this case, this is camping equipment. We could say music equipment, cooking equipment. In regards to equipment, it represents the category, a group of words all together. So, in regards to my camping equipment here, I've got a stick for walking, I've got my rucksack, I've got some walking boots, and I've got a mug here for my coffee. If we want to count equipment, we're going to have to use the quantifier, a piece of equipment. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of equipment. So that ends these two videos on these uncountable nouns which are very frequently used by Brazilians in the plural form. Bem, espero muito que esse vídeo tenha sido útil para vocês e sempre lembrando que se você quiser o material complementar em PDF está disponível no link abaixo. Falou!